Yeah, it's going down, man. It's Donnie Houston Podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a very special guest in the house today, man. Representing Port Arthur, man. Down with that trio gang, man. Hezeleo. What's going down, man?
Man, I'm in here with cool ass Donnie, man.
What's the deal? What's new with you?
Man, everything good, man. It's a blessing to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you got? I know you got some music you've been working on and everything like that, right?
Yeah, let me spiritually cleanse before we start. I'm gonna break the silence with 5 words, man. Cut the goddamn shit. Now, what's up? Run that shit.
Yeah, already. Yeah, man. So, man, what's going down, man?
Hey, man, working like a motherfucker. I bit off enough right now that I know that I can chew without needing so many people. So right now, I'm dabbling in putting out new records, sitting in there with the engineer, making sure he come out with the type of sound that I know Pimp would be proud of. You know, other than that, juggling my trucking business, handling the trail gear business, and being a staple for my family. You know, that's what's really important for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, you in Dallas now, you said, right?
Yeah. I ain't never nowhere, but I'm always everywhere.
Yeah. But, originally from PA, man, tell me a
Tote
little.
off.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about a little bit about it, man, coming up, man.
Oh man, coming up in PA, I come up in the actual, I'll call it the trio era. I come up in the short Texas era. As a youth, I was a very naive kid. I thought everything was sweet. I thought everybody was nice, and I didn't know my environment until a little later, nigga bust me upside my motherfucking head, and I realized, hold up, man, this this ain't
Yeah.
this ain't la la land, man. You know what I mean? A nigga gonna have to keep his eyes open around this hoe.
For sure.
Yeah. So early on, you know what I mean, the environment started to come alive and shit, and I had to come alive with it. So that's what I did, and got exposed to a multitude of the underwear, I would say.
And so what age is this? Are you starting to kind of evolve and kind of get this understanding?
About 12, about the end of 12, shit just started really getting too live. You know.
Yeah. So prior to that, was you like a regular kid? You playing ball and just what type of shit you into, like kind of growing up?
I was always into music. You know, since elementary school. We was on some breakdance type shit. My whole neighborhood, my partner, like one of my best friends, his pops was a DJ, and then we had nothing but DJs in the neighborhood. So we always had like instrumental records and different things like that. And then my mom, she ran a club, so she had a jukebox and a DJ. So I always was able to get my hands on records, like actual vinyl with instrumentals on them hoes. And I just would, freestyle like a motherfucker on them.
So are you coming up as like is Pimp and Bun and all them? Y'all all growing up around the same time and all this, or?
Yeah, I learned about them once they started like putting out demos and whatnot, and some stuff would circulate throughout the city limits. But at that time, my neighborhood, we had a little group called UGK Posse, but it actually changed names probably about 15 different times. I wanted to be a solo artist just off top, because the guys they would place me with, I always was just like, nah, just let me stand on my own. But I was down with the clique. So I actually bumped into Pimp early on. I don't remember how old we were, but we were real young. And we was at my partner crib having a musical powwow with all the local artists and shit who was doing their thing. And that was the first time I actually seen him on some music type shit. He walked in and he was just observing. I was alive because this is my hood and it's the house I go to every day where I do my music and everything else. But he taught us something that day and I'll never forget that. They were playing music and playing beats, and everybody was mixing and mingling and shit, but they were acting shy. So, shout out to my nigga Dan, DJ Dan, and my nigga Hard Time. We just started jumping on the beat, you know what I mean? And then Pimp said like, nah, man, that ain't how you do it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Because I rap, I do this all the time. But he's like, that ain't how you do it. So he pulled out a bag, and I know now it was a 4-track machine, and he pulled out this yellow machine and shit, and he tied it into our system, and he hit the button, and the motherfucking track started.
He was playing beats.
Huh?
He was playing beats.
Yeah. And when the track started, it came on for a minute, and then the beat dropped. Then he started his rap right on that beat. And he did probably like 8 bars with a lot of, charisma. And we were like some dumbass dogs or something, like, what did he do different? You know what I mean? But the reality was we did not know where to come in on the beat. So we thinking we really getting it, but we just all over the motherfucking beat, you know what I mean? And the man showed us, hey man, you got to come in on beat. And that's when I started like, damn, so it's structured to this shit. And he taught me that shit that day, way back then.
Yeah. So time goes on, and I mean, tell me, cause you said you were telling me, off air that you had played ball with Stephen Jackson.
Oh yeah. That's a little later on. We had this place called the Rec Center in PA. niggas know niggas know about that motherfucking Rec Center. It basically was like a YMCA and shit, and boys used to go over there on Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and it would be some vicious ass, brutal ass basketball. You know what I mean? and Steve, you know what I'm saying, he used to play over there all the time with us. He got a lot of his conditioning, his camaraderie, his shit talking, his bravery right there, because you can go down and score, but on your way back you might be squabbing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, okay, yeah, on some penitentiary sound like some
Hey,
penitentiary.
that shit was live though. Hey, that shit kept a nigga in shape. You see my fat ass now. I wish I had them days back, boy. I used to dunk too. I'd be dunking. Hey, look, I'm talking about NBA niggas. I'd be ripping them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Blocking them. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't no cold ass nigga, but I was a force to be reckoned with. Them nigga knew. Them nigga know what it was.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stack. What's up, nigga?
Yeah, already. So man, okay. How early does the UGK lines start to happen? You know what I mean? And the whole Pimp C thing when y'all really kind of get into it and everything, really start messing around.
In the beginning, I was pretty much a fan, you know what I'm saying, just like everybody else, root my niggas on and shit. I had kind of like, I don't remember what year it was, but I just kind of like backed away from music, like just like, man, fuck this shit. I went through some bullshit with my partners and them, and like me and them niggas was real close. So the shit we went through, it was devastating to me, because I'm a trustful nigga and I'm a loyal nigga, and them niggas did me so cold. I couldn't manage to understand, like, how could a nigga I shot marbles with, spend a night at house, ate food with, fuck over me when it's time for us to come up? You know what I mean? And so that shit just kind of set me back. And then around early 2000, I bumped into Jay Will from Inner Soul Records. And that's when I got back in the mix. By that time,
Inner Soul, was that with DMD and all them?
Yeah.
Okay.
By that time, Pimp was on lock. And I'm in the studio fucking around with Jay Will. R.I.P. to my nigga. He was one of the co-founders of the Inner Soul Records, who was helping finance put DMD out. That was my partner. Neighborhood nigga I used to go to school with, come home from school and watch Rap City and talk about one day we gonna be on that hoe. You know what I mean? And so I had
Did you ever work with DMD everything when you were doing music in PA?
I used to always kind of, after I broke away from my partners, I would go to Music World. That was a record store where D actually worked, you know what I mean? and he would be there. He was accessible. And I actually seen MC Shan for the first time at Music World. Like, that was the first real rapper I ever seen, like, way back in the day. And so I would go and submit demo tapes to D to see if he would expose me, you know what I mean? Because I looked at him like a Dr. Dre at the time. And I remember I slapped a demo on the counter. He like, I'm going to check it out, come back in about 3 days. And I went back, the nigga slapped that hoe on the counter and say, whack.
Oh, man.
That nigga slapped that hoe on the counter, man, and said it was whack. And I ain't tripping. Like, he a big brother in the music. Like, he been fucking with the music. I'm just a rap nigga. I'm a street rap nigga. Like, hey, I'll take some criticism. And it kind of stopped right there.
Yeah. Man, okay. So, you were saying you working with Inner Soul and with the Pimp thing. How early that started going?
Pimp had went to prison, and I was getting all these, because I would see him at Judy's or see him on the streets or some shit, and I was getting all these sporadic stories like, man, he walked up in this bitch with an AK and all kind of shit. And I'm like, homie? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, you know. And then another one of our mutual friends.
Are you talking about Pimp walked in here with an AK?
Yeah.
Wait. What this is? Wait. You can't just tell.
I don't know. He has some. See, that's the thing. I'm a fan at this time. I'm not on the inside, so I don't know why my nigga moving around PA like that.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever it was, he had to be ready for it and whatnot. So I seen another one of our mutual friends, and he like, yeah, man, he on some other shit. And I'm like, okay, shit. I hope he's straight. Then right after that, I heard he went to prison. At this time, I was on Guffway. I had a car lot in a detail shop, and my nigga Jay Will come there to buy a car. And he walk up on me. He like, hey, man, where the man at? And, you know, he just disregarding that. I'm standing there asking me, where the man at? And I'm like, oh, he must think, you know what I'm saying? So I say, the man gone right now. He like, shit, man, I want to check out some of these cars, this and that, this and that. I'm like, I can show them to you. So make a long story short, he checked out this one little cash car, and I'm like, take the motherfucker, spend some time with it, and if you want to buy it, come back and tell me. He like, man, can you do that? I'm like, yeah. So he take it, come back about 2 days, boom, boom, boom. He cash me out, boom, boom. I said, nigga, I'm the man. He like, damn, nigga. Like, I didn't know. So he like, nigga, I got the studio. So we started trading off. He come to the auction with me, woo, woo. I go to the motherfucking studio, shaking the rust off. I'm making whack-ass songs, you know, but them hoes sound good with some great clarity. And I'm working with one of his artists, Ricky Diamonds. And then I bump into my niggas from back in the day, Wes and Ave. And them niggas start doing some engineering for me. And they did like not a demo, it was like an underground album with about 8 songs on it. They did that, and then I started circulating that. I put about 4,500 copies in the streets. After that, niggas wanted me to come to L.A. I go to L.A. with them, and I do a mixtape, and then I come back, and it's like my first project that I press up retail ready and start banging up the streets with. And so I'm out there popping the trunk on that shit in the streets, and then I bumps into Riley B. That's a Pimp brother-in-law. So he buy one of the mixtapes, and he leave, and he come back like a couple hours later, and he like, say, man, you ever talk to Mama West? And I'm like, who is that? He like, Pimp Mama. I'm like, why would I need to talk to her? You know what I mean? No disrespect, I just didn't.
What was the reasoning behind you asking me specifically about talking to his mom? Right.
Right, because I'm like a fucking guard dog. Niggas say my mama, I'm like, you know what I mean? So when he explained to me, you know, some of the things she was doing and the role she was playing, I'm like, nah, I never met her. And he like, well, she wants you to come by and chop it up with her, this and that, this and that. I'm like, shit, cool. Tell her I'll come by there tomorrow. Because my mission was, I had 1,000 CDs, you know what I'm saying, 200 in the box, 5 boxes, and I don't have no distribution because I come through this one company that was here that wound up going bankrupt. It was like an albino dude. I think it was called Southwest. I don't remember, but it was an albino dude, and he told me he was gonna give me this little distribution deal, like put my shit in different stores all over that I couldn't touch. And so the first 1,000, he was gonna circulate them hoes for me. But once I got them back, he was like, man, we finna go out of business, this and that, and I'm finna have a heart attack, all kind of old crazy ass shit. So I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this 1,000 CDs? So I hops in my Cadillac and go right down the street. I'm in Houston. I go right down the street. I stand at the motherfucking store. Hey man, what's up? Boom, 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 boom. I just start selling them hoes, $10 a pop. Them hoes shrink wrap, glass mouse, they retail ready. So jump back to what we was. I go and see Pimp Mom, and real nice lady. We sit down and talk. She in the kitchen and she start talking about her role she played with them, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So now I'm like gripping my seat, like, damn, she telling me all this shit. And so she like, you got a manager? I say, nah. So she like, who helped you do all this shit? I'm like, what? She like, put your CD together, this and that, this and that. I say, me. She like, no. And I said, yeah. And I said, I also got a business down the street and another business, boom, 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 detail shop and a car lot, and I do pressure washing for the city of Port Arthur and whatnot. She like, you and who? I say, me. She like, come on, man. So she started inviting me over and briefing me and telling me more about the music business. She started calling niggas like Greg Street, different people trying to, let them hear different shit. But in reality, a lot of that shit, it wasn't ready for what was happening around this area, because I was shaking off the rust trying to find my identity and shit. So a lot of the songs, they didn't really have a certain coast type sound, but they did display lyrical content and clarity, because my engineers, them niggas had went to Berkeley and shit, so the shit sounded impeccable. If we had to gauge like quality, you would go UGK, DMD, and then my shit. But I had no team or no administration, no public. I had nothing to tell the public, this is what this nigga doing. Only way you found out is if you actually bumped into me. And so for years, she just kept grooming me. She started trying to get me shows. She was getting me all these little shows. I would open for Big Mo and just all these different people. Rec Shop was like hot than a motherfucker back then. And she would just tell me so much about Pimp. And we started spending a lot of time together. And then I started to realize, like, I actually thought when you say Pimp C's mom, you thinking all these people who he down with going to his crib, checking on his mama, doing real ass shit. But I would be there a whole lot, and I just never seen none of that. And so I started to realize she wanna engage with me on some music management shit, but she actually really need a real nigga down with her right now. And I said, fuck it. I started being there for personal shit, whatever, like music shit, personal shit. We became like family. She started cooking for a nigga, and man, she could cook like a motherfucker. German chocolate cakes, gumbos, baked chicken, baked that motherfucker for about 4-5 hours, nigga. That bitch taste like cotton candy going in your motherfucking mouth. But yeah, so me and her relationship got tight as motherfucking titties, and niggas was jealous of that shit, because they thinking, oh, that nigga over there trying to suck up to that man mama to get down with him. Nigga, I was summoned over there. And when I got over there, it wasn't easy for me to leave, because she actually needed a nigga. And it wasn't like, no, I'm hanging around this older lady and it's not beneficial to both of us. It was a real fucking relationship. It started to be like family. I always was picking up a phone, vouching for a nigga, introducing a nigga to somebody. Boom, boom, boom. Come over here, baby. We finna do this. And we sit in the kitchen and we make motherfucking moves from the kitchen and shit that I didn't even think I could make. You know what I'm saying? From PA. And so by the time he got out, he understood the role that I played for her, because I also used to bring her to go see him in prison. You know what I mean? I never wrote him. I never tried to create no fake ass friendship. You know what I mean? I just played the position I played, and by that time he was about to get out. It was so many he finna get out type things that people started acting like, oh, y'all niggas don't know what's up. That nigga ain't coming home. And then this one time she had an inside track, and they was giving her play-by-play. He at the gates. He in the bus. He finna be in Huntsville. And she like excited in the bitch telling me. So I'm like, it's finna happen this night. And that actual night, I was in Houston fucking with my nigga Big Bank Hank. I had a whole era with Hank, me and Hank, and my homeboy Hard Time. He was promoting my nigga Hard Time, getting his music out. and I was like the featured artist on my nigga Hard Time shit. So Big Bang Hank actually took a nigga down through there in Houston and helped me meet all the who's who, this and that, this and that, all the clubs, this and that, this and that, standing on motherfucking couches and tables, drinking Cristal, throwing all that motherfucking money. You know how the game go. And so the actual night Pimp was finna get out, Bun was having a show somewhere, and he like, we gonna go to that show and fuck with Bun. I'm like, cool. Bun my nigga, like, it ain't nothing. When I walk up to Bun, it just open doors. What's up? So I walk up to Bun, I'm like, what's up, man? You heard the news? He like, hell yeah, it's for real this time. So he do his show, and then he tell the crowd like, man, my motherfucking brother finna get out. I'm finna go home and do this here. Then he like, nah, I ain't even gonna go home and go to sleep. I'm gonna stay up, then we gonna go get our motherfucking brother. So next time you see me, I'm gonna have Pimp with me. And everybody went crazy. And then we left, and then I talked to Mama. She was like, you coming with me to Huntsville? I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that because I got a lot of niggas wanna bless his game with just different gifts and shit like that. And I'm gonna go pick up all that shit. So I got like a utility bag. You know how they be having at them construction sites? I got a big ass black utility bag. And I went to, I think my nigga Dayla, he was on the north. He from PA and shit, but he was on the north in Houston. I went to my partner cell phone store in PA. I think my nigga CNR wanted to bless his game with some shit. Long story short, all these stores, all these trill ass niggas, they blessed my nigga with watches, cell phones, Air Force Ones, J's, Dickies, just whatever. And I came back to PA, and they had picked him up and made it back to PA. And then she called me. She like, he here. And that shit was like crazy because I've been going over there all this time and he wasn't there. But now finally, this nigga is really here. And so I pull up like I normally do, go through the garage. She in the kitchen, goddamn kitchen glowing like it's a whole different array in the motherfucking kitchen. And she dragging her cigarette. She dragging her cigarette. She like, nigga, you ain't came to see me. That nigga in the game room. I'm like, nah. She like, that nigga in the game room. And I gave her a hug. She like, we got him, baby. We got him. And so I walks off in the game room, and that nigga sitting on the leather couch and shit in front of the pool table, and he looking through the what they call that shit? It's like a cutout moon roof in the ceiling, a solar, I don't know, like motherfucking sunroof in the house.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at the sunroof in the house and shit, and then the nigga just rubbing his hands together, and he see I walked in. That nigga just started smiling. He stood up. He said, easy, baby. Thank you, man. And he gave me this big old ass bear hug, and he just held me for a minute. He like, thank you, man. He say, my nigga, we finna get filthy rich. And just that inclusion, I wasn't even expecting that. But that inclusion right there, that shit just felt good than a bitch. And she kind of prepared me, I ain't gonna say kinda, she prepared me for who she knew who he was. I had to learn all the other shit on my own. But I had an upper hand on a lot of niggas because I understood at some points in life, he had people around him that were doing awkward shit. And none of that was in me. So I knew, hey, this nigga finna inherit a great ass nigga that he can lean on if he ever need him. And it started like that. We started rocking and motherfucking me rolling.
Yeah. So, man, is he putting together the Trill Gang as soon as he gets out? Or, like, when does that whole thing come together and be like, man, this is what we are? Or you just automatically just started kind of rolling with him, like, just like that? It wasn't really...
The first, let me clarify this. Trill Gang is something that I started.
Okay.
And hopefully later we'll get back on that, then I'll tell you how and why. But when he first got out, he was thinking about Pops, his stepdad, had some property in Virginia, and he had been saying through letters that he wanted to get away and do some writing and this and that and formulate himself. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna be cool. And so when the nigga got out, like the next day, the nigga like, man, I'm gonna go to Houston. So the day he got out, I had a show with Chamillionaire. I was on a little mini tour with Chamillionaire. He had that joint Turn It Up, and he was going all around. And I did a few dates with him in different places, Oklahoma, Beaumont, some other places and shit like that. And it was this little nigga. He was a promoter Damn, I forgot homie name. He an old school nigga. He ain't no shit. But but the nigga was trying to get it popping and he was including the nigga and shit. So I'm like, I'm trying to help him because I want to see him succeed because he an old school nigga. You know, he just got out the pen and he trying to get this shit together. But he don't know what the fuck he doing. And me, you know, I got to capitalize on niggas' mistakes. So I'm jumping in, getting in where the fuck I fit in. And I'm all in motherfucking limousine Hummers and shit. Fucking with Hov, doing my motherfucking thing, you know what I'm saying? So I got a show with Chameleon that night and Pimp like, man, when you get next to that nigga Chameleon now, tell that nigga I want that motherfucking candy red drop. And I'm like, shit, I get at the nigga, you know what I'm saying, when I see him. And I before I left, a few niggas came. I gotta tell you this. A few niggas came and shit. And it was some niggas he know, nigga, and a nigga I knew. Like that nigga who I knew, the nigga was roaching. But cause the nigga, you know what I'm saying, nigga wasn't even invited like that, but he came through some other niggas, but I'm like, I see what it is. Boy, that fame with motherfucker, hey boy, what a nigga do for that motherfucking fame? But look, so them niggas came in and they sat down and they was chilling. And so they having a good time talking this and this and that. And mama just walks in. She say, Chad, my sweet angel baby. She said, I don't mean to interrupt y'all, but while you were gone, I probably seen him once. I don't even know him. I probably seen him once or twice. She say, but this one right here, my Heezy, my big angel baby Heezy, he was always here for your mama. Now y'all continue y'all conversation. And she walked out.
Damn.
I did not want to stay after that because
I heard stories about how Pimp's mom was just kind of, you know, live like that, man.
Man,
Like
that was
she
my
was just
nigga,
raw,
man. That was my nigga, man. She wasn't scared. You know, she a little bitty lady, frail like a motherfucker. But she get that motherfucking voice, you motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Be smoking her cigarette, drinking her wine, go to rocking in that chair, you know what I'm saying? That was my nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that woman was like that was like my second mama. My mama used to be mad that, you know what I mean? But it was just like that, you know what I mean? So I say, man, I'm gonna go on burn. And I went and got ready for the show. And so that night, and I don't know, I know Chameleon now a good dude, but that night he rubbed me wrong and shit because we had been to all these few little shows and I was actually in the hotel room kicking it with him because we had a couple of incidents and shit. And he was showing me footage of the show he did the night before. He was telling me like, you know, sometime, man, these gonna be crunk like this, and sometime they're gonna be like dead and, you know, up and down or whatever. And it was a lot of crunk ones. So I felt like we had got, I ain't gonna say close, but close enough for me to walk up on him. But when we was in Beaumont, I just went past go and was going towards him to tell him Pimp wanted to talk to him. And he kind of told his bodyguard and them like, you know what I'm saying, like, stiff that nigga. And that shit burned me up because I'm like, what the fuck, my nigga? We was, you know.
Yeah, I was just hollering at you, yeah.
Yeah. So, and one of the big niggas, he big ass cool ass nigga. I think they had this motherfucking refinished, furbished shop where they did cars, fly rides or some shit. Big ass nigga, big ass forearm and shit, nigga bigger than me. But, you know what I'm saying? Me and the nigga was cool. And when he braced me, he was like, he wasn't tripping. He was just like doing his job. And so I'm like, man, you tripping, my nigga. And he like, what's up, OG Ron? He like, man, what's happening? I said, man, Pimp on the phone want to holler at you. And that nigga say, you hear this nigga? This nigga talking about Pimp C on the phone. I said, yeah, nigga, Pimp on the phone want to holler at you. And I say, man, take the phone, man. And so he grabbed the phone and shit. He like, hello? And nigga said, Pimp C. And nigga start jumping up there. Hey, man, it's Pimp on the phone. I'm like, man. Man, I got love for you, my nigga, but that was some whole ass shit you did, nigga. So he get on the phone and shit. And he get excited and shit and everything cool. So I go do the show, long story short. But that was my last day with them on that show. And then after that, Pimp, they got Pimp together a welcome home party out here. It was off of
Going on 59 over there? At the club?
Yeah.
You talking about, yeah.
What was that club?
Club Blue, I want to say it might have been the name of, or
Man.
Club something. But if it wasn't Club Blue at the time, it ended up turning into Club Blue. But over there, 59 though.
I think it
by
was
the
Blue.
IHOP and all that over there.
Yeah, I think it was Blue.
Yeah.
That motherfucking party was swole, my nigga. And Pimp was like, man, what you want to do, this and that, this and that. And I'm like, I'm a businessman. I'm like, man, what you need me to do? And he said, man, I really need somebody at the door. And I'm like, if that's what you need me to do, I got you sufficiently. And you know, a lot of niggas was trying to tell him like, man, that nigga there on top of his motherfucking shit. That nigga there was already a dumbass nigga in the streets doing dumbass shit. That motherfucking chapter closed. That nigga on top of his shit. That nigga that went through depression. That nigga that went through, you know what I'm saying, all the streets, everything in the streets could offer. Motherfucking brothers going to prison, you know what I'm saying? Mama down there on alcohol and depressed in that bitch. That shit bleeding over to me. I'm an alcoholic drinking every day. So when I shook all that dumbass shit and started to decide, and I need to start getting my shit together, nigga, I recuperated and came out a motherfucking fool. Like for damn near 15 years straight. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's later, but he put me at the door and I did my job sufficiently. I did my job so sufficiently that I almost got into it with some of his people, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say no name, because some of the moves they were pulling, I was shooting straight down the book for my nigga. He just came home like, we been out here. So whatever we been scratching on, we had this jump start on him. Let that nigga get all let's do to him. And so I kind of went against some of the words they was talking about, like, you know, what he got at the door. And they like, you gonna stand on there? I'm like, shit, whatever. You know what I mean? What I supposed to do? So I let him know what the deal is. And
when you say what you got at the door, what you mean? I mean, I'm
like,
kind of following you, but
okay. So like, you know, it's traditional, I guess. You know, if the line long, boys start playing, shit, y'all niggas want to skip line, boo, all of those shit, and let niggas pay to skip line and all of those shit. Hoes looking good, niggas might let 4-5 hoes in and all of those shit. But nigga, I wasn't there for that. Like, niggas from PA who knew me, hey, what's up, baby? Who's that? Okay, what's up? Pay them people and get your ass in there and have a good time. So, you know, I was sober, you know what I mean? I was focused, and I was there to do that job, and I was gonna do that job well. And so I let my nigga know, hey man, this what you grossed at the dope. You know what I mean? And them boys' figures and my figures didn't kind of, and that shit got kind of, you know what I'm saying? There's some big old ass nigga. Hey, them niggas, so I'm 6'3". Back then I was about 295. I was kind of fit, and these niggas were like 2 times bigger than me, and I'm standing up looking at them niggas' chests and shit, and them niggas standing on the side. But I got that motherfucking pocket rocket in my pocket, and hey, niggas gonna die up in that bitch. We all
yeah.
Fuck it. At least nigga gonna say that nigga went out fighting. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So I told him, hey man, did my numbers and boy, like, so they went back in there and they blessed Pimp with that bag, and Pimp come out that bit with a big Crown Raw bag busting. And we got in the car, and he like, my nigga, you want me to pay you right now? This and that. I'm like, nah, my nigga, calm down. I'm finna go to the hotel. Because he didn't know he had kept me up like 27, 28 hours. Like, he had me doing some other shit. Then I did that. And so now they were talking about they finna go to Waffle House and the strip club and all that shit. I had a big ass, fine ass yellow bitch at my motherfucking pop. I had an apartment out here. You know, I know she in a draw. So I'm like, man, fuck all that. I'm finna go to the apartment. Hit me tomorrow. Let's link back up. Boom, boom, boom. So he hit me the next day. He like, meet me at the Monica Brothers off of motherfucking, what's that? By the Galleria, what's that street?
Westheimer?
Yeah. Meet me at the Monica Brothers by Westheimer. So he in a red Bentley, I think. So I pull up over there, and he got something going on with the tire. And so I get in and shit, and we talking. And this was the first time we kind of had like at odds. Like, it was early, but it had to be established. So he reaches in the Crown Raw bag, and he kind of got his hand like that, and he grabbed a little handful of bread, and he potted it on my lap, and he like, here you go, that was for last night. So I grab it and start straightening it out, you know, to count it, to see what the fuck it is. Their business. You my nigga, but their business. I ripped my life last night. Yeah. You ain't gonna hand a nigga no balled up puppies. Let me see what the fuck this is. Yeah. So I count the money. And it was light. It was light. In my facial expression, he was like, nigga, what, you ain't satisfied? I say, man, you know, I put in work last night, you know what I mean? I thought, you know what I'm saying? I thought it worth a little bit more than that. He looked at me and shit, and he reached in the bag. And he had to paw a little bit tighter. And he grabbed a little pinch more. it's a nice little chunk, and yeah, nigga, you ain't getting no more than that. So I count the shit, straighten it out, and it's nice. It's nice. It was nice. So I said, hey man, I'm satisfied. I appreciate it, man. I hope I did well. He like, man, you did a great ass job, nigga. This and that, this and that. And so I said, how long you been sitting out here? He like, man, I'm waiting on them. I'm like, hold up. So I went to Monica Brothers. I'm like, say, man, I got an important ass nigga outside. You know what I mean? I need y'all to get on him right now and get his shit together. And so, oh, okay. So they like, who is it? I said, don't worry about all that. That nigga here important. He need to get his shit, boom, 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 boom. And like, all right. So I pull out a little, here. You know what I'm saying? So them boys shoot somebody out there. They get us in the style, boom, boom, boom. And we talk about some of the things we gonna do. And then that pretty much opened up our business relationship and how we started moving after that.
So, okay, man, tell me about how is it like, because I mean, when Pimp get out, when he first got out, he had like a real calm demeanor, but then at one point he just got live, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk about how was it just rolling with Pimp, man, just going through everything, you know what I'm saying? Because, he wasn't too many people coming out of jail hotter than Pimp C, you know what I'm saying?
Man, the day he got out, I heard on the radio some female was running down the street buck naked, talking about Pimp C is free. My nigga Pimp is home. And so that and just all the, man, when I say the pendulum swung and things just changed, we went from calling people asking can and hoping and to now the motherfucking phone ringing off the hook. Even I had two phones, them motherfuckers. My phone's ringing off the hook, and niggas are just changing, but I'm not changing, and I'm seeing them change. But long story short, his emotional ride. His mom said that, you know what I'm saying, he had a couple things going on like sinuses and just different things and stuff like that. And plus he was the only child, so he didn't move like certain niggas. You know what I mean? Like certain niggas, certain shit he would do, I'd be like, because I got 4 brothers, and I knew like you don't really disrespect niggas unless you ready to go there. And so it just was what it was. And so a lot of times he was really on some brother shit, like, man, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. And that's the nigga I love. To me, that was Chad Butler. That was the nigga that was very calm and very calculated and meticulous and articulate and just a great dude. And he was concerned and compassionate about a lot of people and a lot of things. And he tried to help a lot of people. Just coming from PA, I think some of the stuff that helped him develop some of them personalities was the rejection he used to get sometime, the treatment he used to get. So I guess that was his way of lashing back out, like becoming these different characters. And some of that shit, you know what I mean? Like his mama actually had me like a double agent on some keep that nigga calm, keep that nigga out of trouble. And I would try to do that in a respectful way, but it's a grown ass man, you know what I mean? And this Pimp C, he actually told me some shit one day. He told me about an artist he knew, and it was a great big artist, a legendary artist. And he said he witnessed this artist doing a lot of crash dummy type shit. And he was surprised that this artist was doing that. And he was like, say, man, you doing this, man, you doing that. And the man looked at him and told him, man, I'm such and such. Matter of fact, it was George Clinton. And the man looked at him and said, man, I'm George Clinton. So that's his way of justifying, like, nigga, regardless of what I'm doing, look at who I am.
Yeah.
So he told me that. And I took that, but I still had to kind of be a voice of reason sometime because, my nigga, when you were gone, I'm not going to say your mama was suffering, but it wasn't good. You know what I mean? So now that you are actually here, you are actually able to give multiple people opportunities and jobs, and now things are really rolling. But you gone again, nigga, that shit is over with. So you are that player on the board that needs to be protected and need to stay here. Like, so I always would try to point that type of shit out, but just sometimes the rants would just happen. Like something would trigger them rants, and that nigga just fly off the hook. Bitch ass, hoe ass. That nigga cussed the nigga out one day at the club. We was at the motherfucking what's that shit? His first show. He was thinking his first show was jinxed. I don't know if that shit hit the tabloids, but it was like he thought his first show was jinxed because every time he tried to do it, some fucked up shit happened. You know what I'm saying? So we at this one club. It was, I think it was All Star or something. You know what I mean? And that bitch was super packed. You know what I mean? And we at the back. We come through that bitch. We about 15, 20 cars, you know, deep and shit. We come through the back, nigga. We hopping over curbs and we doing dumbass shit. And so when we get back there, we see another mob of PA niggas. And it's like, you know, it's just so many of us and shit. And them niggas like, Pimp, what's up? So Pimp like, all them niggas with me. They get in with me. And so the promoter, he like, man, Pimp, that's too many niggas getting in, man. Man, I'm losing money, man. Some of them niggas got to go to the front. Boom, 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 boom. He like, nigga, what you talking about? You fussing over money, nigga? I got nothing but some money. And he had some fucking knots in both pockets and shit. And that nigga say, nigga, how much you charging these niggas a head? And that nigga say, shit, man, man, they coming in like that 100. And nigga say, nigga, you ain't said shit. Get them niggas in. And that nigga stood there with his feet like a duck. That nigga stood there, you know what I'm saying, in his stance. That nigga reached down. And I think he had like red monkeys and shit. Them hoes had some deep ass pocket. That nigga reached down in the motherfucking pockets and pulled out some shit like this and started, get that nigga in. Man, I don't know how much that nigga spun that night, but that nigga got all them niggas in.
Oh man.
Yeah, so, but before he started getting them niggas in, that nigga stood there and he pointed at the nigga and he started his curse. You bitch ass, pussy ass, hoe ass. Like he called a nigga every kind of name in the book. And the nigga just standing there taking it and shit. I'm like, that nigga's crazy. We went in that hole and had a good ass time. But the shit got canceled. Like everybody who was there, they know the show got shut down. Like fire marshal shut that bitch down because it was just too packed and whatnot. And I'm up there. I got mama in the VIP. And I'm up there and like all these hoes seeing who I am. And like these hoes is changing, man. Like I'm up there on some Mike Tyson shit. Hey, baby, you know what I'm saying? I got hoes putting that ass on me. I'm like, bitch, back up. I got something to do. You know what I'm saying? Man, I probably had about 8, 9, 10 numbers that night just walking around in that bitch. But yeah, that nigga, he went sporadic on that nigga that night. Pussy ass, hoe ass, bitch ass nigga.
Yeah. So man, as were you with Pimp when he went to LA before he passed away at any time?
Man, jumping up to that, we had went through a whole lot of shit, and we had just did a show in Dallas. It was Pimp had what you call UGK Records and UGK Posse. That's what I was a part of. And then Bun, we met with Bun in Dallas for that show, and he had
was UGK Records, was that a Pimp C thing or that was Pimp and Bun's records?
It was a Pimp C thing, and from my understanding, I think Pimp asked him did he want to fuck with it, and I think he didn't want to fuck with it. Now, I can't call that 100% truth because it's only hearsay. So it pretty much was a Pimp, Mama, me, and Vicious. Smoke D had got locked up. Shout out to my nigga Smoke D. He out doing his thing. He just dropped a new video. R.I.P. Vicious. And it was me, Smoke, and Vicious at the first time. Once he got out and we started. That's why you would see us like in so many of the videos. Like if you look at the videos now, you'll see me now because you know who I am. But after that, he started putting different people in positions to be down with us. He was fucking with artists who already was out who had a name. He's fucking with MC8. The nigga Crime Boss used to be with Flip. He was fucking with him. He was gonna fuck with the chick named Boss.
Boss, yeah. She should be, yeah.
He was gonna fuck with her. He was fucking with a lot of people. He was fucking with 3-2 Heavy.
He was my cousin.
Yeah. 3-2 used to be with us. He actually came with us to this video shoot in San Antonio that sweatshop. Welcome to the sweatshop, bitch. My nigga Kodak, Mexican, partner out of San Antonio. So 3-2 was with us. But so yeah, he was putting that all together, but it basically was his thing. And so we go to Dallas. I think this is around November, I think. We go to Dallas and we do this show. The special guest is Chameleon now, you know. He come out on stage. Shit crunk as fuck, man. I got whole stuffing numbers in my back pocket, man. I'm like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? It's going down. You know what I mean? We go to the room, nigga got motherfucking multiple choice, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, this behind the scene, man. You got the hit, man. Yeah. Vanilla Sprite, chocolates, caramels, all that shit. Yeah. But then I picked the wrong bitch. I picked this little yellow ass, pretty ass little bitch, and it bitch come get in the bed with me and don't want to do nothing. This bitch fucked around and held a nigga out to about 5, 6 in the morning. So I had to put her ass out and go find me some real fucking hype. Bitch, you done blew my night. But yeah, shout out. So we in Dallas, and so we go back to motherfucking Houston. Before we leave the hotel, we outside the hotel, and I think this how we leave the hotel, and he asked Ivory P, R.I.P. to my nigga Ivory P. That was another nigga down with UGK Posse that he picked up. He passed away in the shootout with the laws. I don't know how this shit went, but he passed away like that a couple years back. So he asked him, he like, man, you got some drink? And my nigga like, man, I got this little foe or whatever. And he like, let me see it. And he like, I can get you some more or whatever. So he take it and he take it to the head like a foe or something straight.
Pimp?
Yeah.
Takes the foe straight to the head?
Yeah.
He had got to sipping like that, like over time or whatever?
Like, whenever he was doing whatever he was doing, he was trying to keep a lot of it from me. So
You
whatever
said from you?
Yeah. Like he didn't want to do shit in front of me.
Okay, I got you.
Because I would be on some, hey man, what, you know, I'd be on the sucker shit. But I didn't need the nigga in trouble, so I always would try to be able to voice of reason and shit. You know, we'd drink a beer together, but he wasn't really doing nothing consistent that I seen. But, you know, that night he was like, man, that wasn't a night, it was early in the day. He like, man, you got some drink, you can get some drink. So people like, man, I got that foe, but I'm gonna call you some more. He like, let me see it. And he take it. He say, man, this really some drink, huh? Boom! it sat the bottle down and it was empty. I'm like, oh shit. Like that shit strong in the motherfucker. I know niggas might sip, but you can't drink that shit straight and expect to be cognitive or whatever. So we leave the hotel and he drowsy and groggy in the motherfucker. And he like, man, y'all get y'all bag, let go. So we go back to Houston and we go to his high rise. Now they say he slept because he was in a van and I was in another whip behind them, and they say he slept all the way there. And so when we got to the high rise, he was still in there asleep. So we had to like wake him up, like we here. And we stood outside for a while talking and shit. Shout out to my nigga Trio Images Ed, that was his cousin, that was the right hand man, personal assistants, all that shit, photographer, all that shit. So and the bodyguard niggas, you know, shout out to all them niggas, Elliot and I forgot my other nigga name, nigga out of Louisiana. But them niggas was all there, and we woke him up, and we got him up. And we started walking him up to the elevator. And so while we doing that, he like, man, I love y'all, man. Y'all niggas real, man. I finally got a solid team, this and that. And like, man, we love you too. On some real nigga shit. We had been through a lot of shit, you know what I mean? But the nigga always had love for him. So we got him upstairs. And when we got him upstairs, he was saying, we finna start recording some of this UGK Posse shit. And so me personally, I'm thinking, my nigga voice so scratchy because he did a show, and plus he groggy from that fucking drink, like, we not finna do no good records. And that was me underestimating the man because his voice was just, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, that ain't gonna sound like no Pimp C. So I say, look out, this is what I'm gonna do. Nigga, y'all go do whatever y'all doing. I'm finna shoot over here. I had that motherfucking little poodle dog waiting on me. You know what I mean? Flat stone, small ass, tiny ass, hourglass waist. You know what I mean? So I disappeared to go do that there. And I'm like, them niggas ain't gonna make no motherfucking good records anyway, so fuck it. So the next day they come and them niggas like, say nigga, this nigga Pimp said you better get your ass over here. He left all these spots on these verses open for you. I'm like, y'all niggas did some records? That nigga like, man, we did about 4 records. I said, what they sound like? They said, that shit jamming. Man, they been trying to hold me back, man. I threw my clothes on and shot over there. And them niggas start playing that shit. And that nigga was doing hooks and verses. I say, damn. I'm like, man, let me stop trying to underestimate this man. I don't know this. This man is a fucking legend. Let me stop looking at this man like he ordinary and normal. And so on some real nigga shit, that nigga left my spots open. And so like a blazing motherfucking pen, I hear the beat, brrr, you know, I write the verse. I go in there, drop the motherfucking verse. What's the next one? Same thing, brrr, 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 finish them hoes. And so he like, we gonna do some more, this and that, this and that. And then we stayed at the high rise, drinking good. Them niggas, hey, I don't know what you was smoking just now. It smelled pleasant. But that shit them niggas was smoking in that motherfucker, nigga, that shit smelled like fruits. That shit smelled like Jamaica. Nah, I don't know. But the shit was live. And we had all these bottles and his wife was baking pies and we was in there like family. And then he, you know, he sobered up and he walked around and he started like pointing at different niggas. He like, man, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, man. We gonna put out this project. The project was called UGK Posse. We got the big nuts. And he called it that because he was gonna kind of emulate Dr. Dre the Chronic, and he was gonna put us in position like that. And he was like, "You my Snoop Dogg, boom boom boom. You my RBX, or boom boom boom, whatever." And so he was giving us all these different things to do. And so I remember one particular time, Corey Mo was there too. A couple of other niggas, my nigga Bankroll Jones, TOE, my nigga DJ Beto, my nigga Big Bub, shit, boy, if I miss your name. Oh, Bundy G, my nigga, my kinfolk, motherfucking Messiah was there. But that was pretty much the whole UGK Posse. And so he was like, you could get on this record, and I want you to, he was talking to Ivory, he like, I want you to do a pimp intro on it, like talk that pimp shit. And so Ivory was like, man, I don't want to just talk on it. I want to rap on it. He like, man, just do what I'm asking you to do on this one. And he tell another nigga, man, I want you to do 4 bars or something. He like, man, I want to do a whole 8. So I stood up, I said, nigga, I don't give a fuck if I sneeze on the motherfucking record. Nigga, my name gonna be on the record. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas tripping. Let's get these records done. And so we stayed there for a couple of days and shit. And he was like, man, I gotta go to LA, this and that. And I didn't think like, you know, this would be a trip I would go on. Cause when he did certain shit, he would take Ed with him. And I was going on mostly the shows, the promos. I started being his opening act after an incident, you know what I'm saying? And I started being the merchandise man. And that was just from us going to, I think we was in Lafayette one day, and I had a Louis Vuitton bag draped across my shoulder. He actually hosted a project for me called Block Stars after he got out. That was something he promised me he would do. And so that's, man, it's just so much. So he hosted that project after, you know, a couple months. I'm like, damn, I thought you was gonna do my project. He like, bitch ass nigga, I'm gonna get to your project, nigga, this and that, this and that. I'm like, well, get to it, nigga. You know what I mean? He like, matter of fact, nigga, we gonna do it tonight. So he just jumped in the studio, knocked my project out, knocked my feature out, boom, boom, boom. I started circulating a song called Bought a Cadillac. You know what I mean? That's me and him and my partner Hard Time. But then I told my partner Hard Time, I'm gonna take you off if Bun get on it. And I told my partner that from the jump, because I seen the vision. I wanted Pimp and Bun on that bitch. So if Bun gonna get on it, I'm gonna take you off it. Bun got on it, I took my nigga off it. But it is a version of me pimping Hard Time and then me, Pimp, and Bun. So we go from the studio doing that type of shit, and then he like, I'm gonna go to LA, this and that, this and that. And like I said, I was going with most of the shows and appearances and different things like that. I wasn't expected to go on a trip like that, because it wasn't like he was gonna do shows. He was gonna do handle some business. But on his way out, he was like, man, I'm gonna get this budget. I done visited some labels to get us going, and a lot of these labels ain't talking about giving us no real kind of money because you niggas don't have sound scans or proven. We all were underground artists. Like myself, by the time I connected with Pimp, I probably had 20, 30,000 CDs in the streets out the trunk, you know what I mean? But if it's not being sold and scanned, like, niggas don't know about that shit. But he knew, because he knew everywhere we would go, niggas be like, what's up, Heezy? So he wasn't surprised about it. Like, he was in D.C. and he was talking to some nigga like, where Heezy at? Like, you know, okay, boom, that nigga, that'll be on his own. So he was like, man, I'm gonna get all this money, we're gonna come back, we're gonna get these UGK chains, we're gonna do a deal with like Chrysler or something, we're gonna get these Magnums and Chargers, and we're gonna get out there and do our thing. We're gonna put out these motherfucking mixtapes independently. And I was excited about that because he and I had already started doing business on their old catalog. Like he got permission to get some of that old catalog from Jive, boxes and boxes of CDs and shit. And then he got permission to put out an album before the album. So he pressed up like 10,000 copies of that. I think it was Still Riding Dirty. It was the cover of him and Bun in the whip. Boom, boom, boom. I forgot what it was called, but we had actually 10,000 copies sitting in motherfucking Corey Morehouse, and I and a couple others was actual distribution. So I knew like some connects, some one stops and shit like that. Shout out to my nigga Hezeleo, and then there was another nigga down with Slim Thug, and I forgot that nigga name, little short ass nigga. Nigga used to get at me and get like a bunch of CDs. I come right out here and drop the nigga boxes of CD, keep it going. So I was knocking a dent in all the CDs and shit. And so he was like, when we do the UGK Posse, when we gonna do it like that. And that's how y'all niggas gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna stop y'all from doing none of that. Y'all get that shit, go get that money, let's break bread. And so I don't know if other boys was kind of interested in that, but that's how I got in the game, by guerrilla marketing and popping the trunk. So when he said that's how we were gonna do it, and we were doing like I don't remember the numbers, but it was a heavy number. Like we were doing 70, we were doing 80-20 with the distributor. It was crazy. They was gonna help distributors and promoters, and then we were gonna get our own product too. So we had some heavy numbers on our side. So I was just excited about that because we were finna do so much. And so I shot to PA to kick it with Mama and handle business and do some of the shit I needed to do. And he shot out to LA. And I remember I was going to Mize print shop on 25th Street. I was by the graveyard and shit. And my partner named Mr. 3, that nigga called me and he like, man, you heard the news? I'm like, what you talking about? And nigga say, man, Pimp passed. And I'm like, nigga, quit tripping. You know what I mean? He like, nah, man, turn on the radio, this and that, this and that. So I'm like, man, I gotta go. So I hung up and I called Mama and she say, he gone. So the street I was on was actually the street to shoot to her house. So I bypassed the motherfucking print shop and shot all the way down, busted a turn, and went to her house. And as soon as I walked in, man, she grabbed me and she clung to me, dog. And I don't know how long I held her, but man, when I let her go, my motherfucking T-shirt was drenched. And that was a fucked up ass day.
Yeah. Do you think? Because I mean, I had Mitch on, and he was recently saying that he think that he was killed. It wasn't like a thing like he just died. Do you subscribe to that theory as well, or how do you think that he actually passed away?
It's some in-depth content that's out there that I don't choose to speak on because I ain't really no speculating type nigga. You know what I'm saying? But do I think he was killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Cause I seen him down drink before and bounce right back. Like I said, I underestimated him because he drank that drink and thought he wasn't gonna produce no records, and he bounced right back and dropped by 4-5 records. So him, subscribing to taking some drink and going to sleep and nah. It's some bullshit. I think the nigga was finna do so much powerful shit. It just was a threat to somebody, and he gone. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We lost a great talent, a brother, a friend, a pioneer, a legend, and we have his music to enjoy, and we still have Bun. So it's UGK for life.
For sure. That's what it is, man. Man. So how's it been for you? Since he passed away and everything, man? In the beginning, we knew it was gonna be an uphill battle, because me and Mama and the crew was still continuing, and there was a lot of love from different people. Like we was doing the Pimp C celebration parties every year. We did a couple out here, and it actually show on a DVD where I'm on there, and I'm talking some shit. I'm talking about exposing some niggas for some hoe ass shit they did. But then I thought about it like, nah, fuck them hoe ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna be out there tattletale. You hoe ass nigga got away with that hoe ass shit. Hey boy, but it is what it is. Every dog got a day, so whatever. So we was having participation from celebrities and friends and helping contribute for us to keep it going. But then it started to dwindle.
and we were trying to come together and put the project together that we had with all the features of Pimp. But then some things started happening where music was taken and the songs we had started to feature on projects that, you know what I'm saying, were put out by bigger labels that he was affiliated with. That's how I wound up featuring on Still Pimpin' and The Naked Soul, Sweet James Jones. I appreciate that look. You know what I mean? But it was way more records, you know what I'm saying? So the South and everybody who was tuning in was fixing to actually really hear us, because we was like, he was like Tupac and we were the Outlaws, and we were doing some shit, you know what I mean? So it just became a real struggle. But when you come from nothing, that's not like an uncomfortable place. So I was enjoying the struggle, learning different things, meeting different people, trying to help, you know what I'm saying, us pierce through. And I remember Mama and us having a meeting, and this was kind of like me understanding this shit might not go nowhere as no clique, because we sat down at the table, we had Big Gumbo, and we had Pimp Manager there, which I never trust, and we had a couple more niggas, and the nigga would just slick talk all the time, and they be talking about, I got that white folks power, I got the white folk power. And I'm like, nigga, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? But he in Cali playing the game how he played the game. And so he was trying to see if we were going to put some things together, and I think he was going to try to, you know, help us with it. I don't know. But Mama was like, Heezy, I want you to be the vice president. And I'm already over merchandise and an artist and a father and a friend and a son and a brother. Like, I don't want to be no motherfucking vice president, because I'm not a vice president. I don't know what a vice president do. So I declined and told her, if necessary, I'll be an acting vice president until we bump into the nigga we need who have the knowledge. Then I can turn that shit over to him and I can do me. But then one of Pimp bodyguards, shout out to Byron, he like, man, well, I'll be the vice president, this and that, this and that. And I was just trying to tell him, man, I understand that you want to fill in, you know, and do that, but do you actually have that type of criteria? You know what I mean? And he was like, man, you know, but it's respect and love, but it's just certain times, man, you don't get in positions, because sometimes it could actually hinder a movement if you don't have the correct knowledge. You acquire the person who actually had that motherfucking criteria and knowledge and background, then maybe you get behind that nigga. You know what I mean? So that's the type of shit I was on. But the whole meeting, we couldn't come together, you know, with a plan. And I'm talking about these niggas I was around, my brothers, we was all thousandaires. We was all having, you know, we was having life our way on a lower scale. You know, I don't know if anybody was no millionaire. I don't think so. But niggas were pimping whores and slanging CDs, and hey, niggas was getting money, man. So hey, man, niggas was capable. And so what I did was I took a formula I had on my solo shit, and I placed it on the table. I exposed my inside of what I do to multiply it, because now I got all these other brothers, and I love these niggas because, you know, we done been on the road, we done gotten fusses, this and that, this and that. And so I'm thinking, if these niggas see my little old plan and understand what we finna do, we finna put 10 times the money that I would normally put in my projects. We put our own money and get the shit cracking and keep rolling. Finance our own videos, finance our own CDs, studio time, whatever, travel, whatever. Keep the goddamn Pimp C party going every year. Who do we need? Nigga, whoever we need, we don't have our big brother. So who we need, nigga? We need us. So since we didn't step up, hey, the shit kind of dwindled. And I went on to, and everybody went on to do their thing. You know, I went on to put out my own projects. I did some little underground numbers. You know what I mean? I stayed on the streets. I wrapped up a motherfucking truck and ran down the motherfucking South like a goddamn dog and sold my motherfucking product.
Yeah.
Straight business.
Yeah.
And I hope none of you niggas take this as a diss. It's just the truth, my niggas.
Yeah, already. So, man, okay, so where we at today with it, man? You know what I'm saying? Is there anything that you want to, you know what I'm saying, get off before we close it out?
I refuse to answer that question because it may incriminate me. Now, say, man, check this out, man. I'm still out there like a wild, funky hog. I just dropped 4, 5 banging ass songs, you know what I'm saying? Catch that shit on that Bandcamp, all of the digital platforms. Hey, man, go check that shit out. Michael Watts been breaking one of the motherfuckers featuring Billy Cook, you know what I mean? Candy Cars, Man, shout out to all the producers that been showing love, fucking with a nigga, and say, man, I that's why I said 15 years. In 2015, running out down them streets, you know, pushing product, this and that, that shit started to dwindle. You know what I mean? Mama hadn't connected the dots with a lot of these industry niggas that we were fucking with, and I used to try to tell her, but she wound up getting sick and passing away. So me being a father, I can't sit there and tell them stories about when we was in the club and how cold the champagne was. I got to put some motherfucking bread on the table. So I put my motherfucking pride to the side. I had about 3 racks left, and I had a whole bunch of gear, but I don't touch that money. I just let that do what it do. And so I put my pride to the side. I got my motherfucking GED. I went to college for a couple of days, just say I did it, you know what I'm saying, fuck with some hoe, whatever. And then I fucked around, called motherfucking a CDL company, got my motherfucking CDL, and researched trucking, and realized, hey, you could climb up in this shit quicker than anything. So I had a plan to get in that shit for about 15 months, then buy my motherfucking own truck and start my shit. And hey, that's what I did. I bought me a truck. Shit, damn near 18 months later, I bought me another. So right now, I'm a wild funky hog on the motherfucking highway in one of them 18-wheelers. You know what I'm saying? And I need a driver, you know what I'm saying? Not no fuck nigga, but a real nigga. And I'm out there pushing the Trill gear. Man, much love to everybody that's been showing love for that Trill gear. Man, I got some real ass people that been fucking with me, man. You know what I mean? And much love to all y'all. And like I say, I'm back doing the music. It's other things I'm getting to. I touched the real estate a little bit. I only got one house back in PA. And hey, that's gonna go in a second. But long story short, you know, what I got my hands on right now is what I can handle. I had a surprise for you, but it didn't fall in place. I was actually bringing Young Pimp and my son, Young Heezy. That's the 2 young gunners that once they get their mind together, I see in the future that I want to manage them niggas or help manage them niggas. Because I want them niggas to get that experience of being organized and move like some real shit, like a unit like we did. And that's what, I ain't gonna say I owe that to Pimp, but I want to get it to his son what he gave me. He gave me an opportunity. So I want to help them boys. So I'm always in place, you know, fucking with them, help them do videos, whatever. My nigga, once you out of this jam, my nigga, do what you got to do to stay out of trouble, man. There's too much shit piled up against us anyway. But you are who you are. You the young motherfucking prince. And nigga, you already got the lane. The lane is open. And Unc right here for you. And Young Heezy, hey man, I got to move how I move. I have to stay in position. I can't sit there and take no motherfucking losses because it's too hard out here, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? A nigga can't get out there and be digressing. You know what I'm saying? A nigga got to elevate. Only way I can be an asset to anybody is staying on my motherfucking grind and taking care of business. And when y'all niggas call and y'all need me, don't I answer the phone and don't I come through if it's not some dumb shit. So hey man, sometimes we gotta give each other space, man, to let each other be who the fuck we are.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bun B, Trill Gladiators, all that there, you know what I'm saying? It's going down. It's your boy Hezeleo, Trill Gang, shout out to all them boys. Alabama, Hen Dog, motherfucking Bo Mac, all my niggas that's been, you know, keeping the nigga rolling, staying down with a nigga, Smoke D. 17, get your motherfucking mind right, boy. I ain't gonna speak on you. But, you know, Big Bub, everybody, you know, Beto, say nigga, you already know what it is. All my niggas, R.I.P. Ira P, R.I.P. Vicious, R.I.P. Mama West, R.I.P. Pimp C. Fuck with your boy at Hezeleo on Instagram, Hezeleo on Twitter. I barely fuck with it. Go to the website, trillgear.biz. Other than that, the YouTube, I drops Trill stories on them hoes. I got exclusive content on that shit. Hey man, time with a nigga. And get on the Facebook and fuck with a nigga, man. We be fucking off on that bitch.
Yeah. That's what it is, man. Easily. Hey, check it out, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Go to the website, DonnieHoustonWorld.com, man. Get some merch, you know what I'm saying? If you watching, you ain't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, turn the alerts on, all that, you know what I'm saying? Easily, I appreciate you coming through, man. It's been real live chopping it up with you, man, getting some of this background story, man.
Hey man, I appreciate what you doing, giving people exposure and whatnot. That's a great thing. You being resourceful, and that's something that Pimp was doing for a lot of people. You know, giving niggas the shirt off his back. There's so many layers to the relationship and the adventure. So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I appreciate being able to sit here and give y'all a piece of it, man.
That's what it is, man. It's Donnie Houston Podcast. I'm Donnie Houston. He's the lead. Hey, man, we out.
Donnie Houston.